a pleasure out of being rude to people like that who are just so oblivious and rude as well. Kind of give them a little taste of their own medicine, you know what I mean? This one's just completely uncalled for. Like, I don't know, it's probably kids or something doing this. I don't know why anyone would do this one, but people who stick gum in the charging ports on public transportation. That one just kind of speaks for itself. Or how about this woman who sat next to somebody who stole her complimentary chocolate while she was asleep? Like, you're that much of a thief. You can't just ask the flight attendant to bring you a free piece of chocolate. No, no, no. We got to steal the one next to us that's not even ours and hope that they're not going to notice. Well, obviously they did. Whether or not they stood up for themselves and said anything to them is another story, guys. But when things like this happen to you, you need to stand up for yourself. You need to open your mouth. Don't let people like this bully you. It's just not right. Because there's a lot of bullies in the world. Here's another one right here. This guy cut in front of a person who was waiting and had an appointment at the DMV, and this person just jumped right in front of them. Now this one could be one that could be faked, right? Like some of these you don't really know for sure if these are real, but I think they're interesting, and you've probably seen things like this actually happen before or have heard of things like this happening. So I don't think there's any reason for someone to fake this. There's all kinds of entitled people who feel like they can cut the line with things all the time. You especially see it in traffic, guys. Like there's a couple of exits in Miami and even one here in California that people notoriously kind of go in the wrong lane and go beyond all the traffic, people who are in the exit lane, only to just cut in front of people in the front because they don't feel like they have to wait behind anybody else. They feel like they're better than everyone and are allowed to cut the line for some reason. I don't know what that is. It is just ultimate entitlement. And I wish people like that would just crash their car and die, to be honest. That's my God's honest feeling, man. It really is. You know, we got enough problems in this world. We don't need people like that that continue to add frustration and extra problems that we don't need. That's just my personal take. You guys want to know what I really think? That's what I really think. And today I'm walking down Turtle Rock Court here in Tiburon, California. And as you can see, it's another absolutely beautiful summer day here. About 73, 74 degrees out. Here's somebody who ordered 20 sandwiches at the drive-thru, but they wouldn't move over or pull forward and wait in the parking lot. Instead, they decided it'd be a good idea to just wait there until all 20 sandwiches were ready. So they ended up delaying everybody else in line just so they could get their 20 sandwiches. Like, what's the harm, man? Just pull over. You're gonna get your order and let everybody else go along with their day. This one thing that kind of reminds me of like when you have to go to the bank in person these days, which is usually an awful experience. I try to avoid it. Or you want to go to the bathroom at Trader Joe's. It's kind of the same experience. You just got to go and take a quick leak. I got to make a fast deposit or something like that, or hand over some kind of form. And then there's somebody in front of you that's just taking forever with la-di-da-di-da, whatever they got going on, a million problems, a million this and that. And no regard that there's other people waiting. You know, there should be a fast track line for everything these days, guys. Like, they have express lanes, checkouts at this grocery stores. Why not have express bathrooms, express lines at the bank, express everything? So that way, people who are in a hurry and only have to do a very quick little transaction or take a quick leak can just get in and get out and get on with their day instead of waiting for all the slowpokes who could care less what everybody else has going on time-wise. This one's pretty messed up. I have to explain this one for you guys to understand this picture. But this person put out a bunch of free chairs on their front sidewalk, and some ungrateful person picked up the chairs, but then they crumpled up the paper and threw it right back in the person's front yard. So yeah, thanks for the free chairs. Here's your trash back. I mean, that is so rude and so disrespectful. It's just a piece of paper, man. Crumple it up, put it in your car. When you get home, you throw it in the trash. How hard is that? But just simple disrespect, you know? It's just unbelievable. You got something for free from this person, and then you go ahead and just throw trash in their yard. It's just not right, man. Some people are just straight up diabolical too. Here's somebody who took all the books out of one of those little free libraries that you see around these days. People build those little things that look like a big birdhouse, and they put books in there. People can go and pick up the books for free and add a book there that they don't want anymore. This person decided, no, I'm just going to take all the books out of there and throw them down in the creek below. And ha ha ha, how funny was that? Like, just taking people's kindness and turning it upside down, man. You got to be a pretty sinister person to do things like this. Oh yeah, this one with the public bathrooms, I think this one was the epitome for me. I see this all the time. I hate using public restrooms, by the way. I avoid it at all costs if I can, just because of how gross people are. And here's the perfect example, and this is not even the grossest example, obviously. You've probably all seen worse, but people do things like this now. They, instead of just hitting the trash can with your foot, you don't even have to touch anything, so lazy to do that. Instead, I'm just going to throw all of the used paper towels on the floor and on top of the trash can because we can't be bothered to throw it inside. I'll bet you even if this trash can didn't have a lid, there would still be paper towels on the floor because people just can't be bothered to throw it in the bin. And living in Miami, I see this one a lot too, man. You got to watch out for this on the beach. This person decided to have a bonfire on a public beach. Then they threw a glass bottle into it, broke it all up, and then decided to cover it all up with sand. Oh, great. So your 5-year-old can go running across the beach chasing a ball only to get stuck with someone's nasty beer bottle in their foot. Now you're going to the hospital and your kid's getting stitches. And it happens to adults too, guys. Like, you can't see things that are buried below the sand. And if you're heavier, you step on it, boom, you're cut. You want to know what I really think too? I think people who are this messed up in the head shouldn't be allowed to be parents. That's what I think. You know, everybody wants to do those cute gender reveal parties nowadays. They go and they blast off some kind of fireworks or explosion that show the color and it reveals the sex of the baby. Well, here's somebody, parents obviously, who decided to do a gender reveal, and they left all their confetti on the ground at a public park. Like, why are people like this allowed to reproduce? Like, if you're such a horrible person like that, how come your genes still work? Why do people like this get to pass along those horrible genes to the next generation of human garbage, guys? That's what I think about people like that. Is it the end of the world to leave a confetti on the ground? No, a lot of people do it. People blow off fireworks, things like that. It goes somewhere, it goes away, right? But it's the example that it sets, right? It's like, this was an easy thing to clean up. It's not like you blew off fireworks that went into a million pieces, who knows where, right? Just a little bit of confetti right there that you could have easily just cleaned up in less than a couple minutes with a broom and a dustpan. Can't be bothered to do it. But we're gonna bring a kid into this world and teach them how to be just as awful as we are. Or let's go to the public park that everyone has the privilege of using. And it is a privilege, by the way, because there's no requirement to have nice public parks and have things like this, because this is all paid for by tax dollars. This is all optional stuff, guys, but people take it for granted, just like so many things, and they just go and have a picnic and leave all their trash there. There are trash bins everywhere at public parks. I've never been to one that doesn't have them, and usually they're very close to the picnic tables too, by the way. Nope, can't be bothered to throw it away. That's too much of an ask. These last two aren't quite as bad as some of the other ones we went over, but they're still just rude and disrespectful, really. You know, this is when somebody has their speaker out and plays their music out in a public place, like a pool like this, a common area pool in an apartment building or something like that. See a lot of people do this at the beach too. I mean, it doesn't bother me too much unless they're really blasting it and then you're really forced to listen to it. But if it's at a reasonable volume and they're not too close to me, I don't really care, you know? But not everybody has the same taste in music. What if you're just trying to take a nap? You know, that's one thing that really does bother me. Like, sometimes I'll be at the beach by myself. Like, I intentionally go away from people and I'm in an area where there's no one else around. And then you have, you know, a group of people that sits like 5 feet away from you, and then they start making a bunch of noise, even if it's not music, or they turn the music on too. Like, why? Why don't you just go somewhere else? Why are you here close to me? Obviously, I'm over here for a reason. Once again, completely deer in the headlights, right? People have no regard for anybody else around them, just like the ones who are standing in front of these people on the plane. Oh yeah, we don't care that there's somebody else here. It's like you're invisible. It means nothing that you're there. They just care about having a good time for them. So that type of attitude, I think, is just horrible. And everybody who is like that should get some kind of reality check. And I hope that karma will come back to them in some way that they deserve. And the last one is people that have their phone on speaker, or they walk around watching things on their phone at full blast. You see this a lot too nowadays, just like the people who play the music in public places. No regard for anybody else around them. My conversation or what I'm watching here on my personal device just is more important than anybody else around me. This is my house, no matter where I am. Entitled, entitled, entitled. And I'm sure a lot of people who watch this video might be guilty of at least one thing that we talked about here, guys. I am one of them. I am somebody. I told you the one I was guilty of. If you missed it, go back and watch it again. But we've all done something in our lives that we're not proud of, and we wish we could go back and maybe do differently, if you are a halfway decent human being anyways. And I hope a video like this inspires people to maybe think twice before you throw that piece of trash on the ground, or before you do something rude in front of other people that just shouldn't be done. You know, we all have to deal with inflation, high cost of living, more population than ever, more traffic than ever, all kinds of things that make life difficult and more stressful. Why add to it? You know, do your part to just try to make the world a better place, even if it's just something as simple as not doing any of these things that we just talked about. To me, that's good.